Well, no need to play MLB for the next decade plus, as Shohei Ohtani is a Los Angeles Dodger.
Are we surprised? No. Are we surprised at the number? Very much so. Let's talk about it right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays, as well as all the other podcasting platforms. You can also email us, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Well, if you've been living under a rock and haven't heard, Shohei Ohtani is in fact, indeed, not a Toronto Blue Jay, not a Los Angeles Angel, not a New York Yankee or whatever. He is a Los Angeles Dodger, a 10-year, $700 million contract with a really, really unique and quirky wrinkle with that contract, given that $680 million of that is deferred till essentially after that contract ends. So Ohtani will, believe it or not, be making $2 million per year on the field in each of the next 10 years. So that's crazy, among other notable things about this, about what happened here.
Yeah. And to round out everything else, so those $2 million that he's going to get, don't think, oh, poor Shohei, he's only earning $2 million. Well, he earned $40 million last year on sponsorships, advertisements alone. And that is supposed to be increasing to around 50 million. So really, he's getting in 52. So don't worry about Shohei, about the 2 million. But also, the fact of the matter is, no, for the competitive balance tax, basically the luxury tax, it's not like it goes $2 million into that pot. They're actually going to count it as $46 million due to the future value of money, which is supposed to be 70 million. And then there's some math. And then the 70 million in the future actually equates to 46 or 44 million plus the 2 that he's going to get paid. That's 46. So this is the most math and business class that you have had to look at to understand a baseball contract.
And I get the off the field endorsements. It's just funny and odd to me that the most talented and amazing player of his generation, and maybe in sports history, is going to be making less than Austin Barnes and Tony Gonsolin and Miguel Rojas, and just go on down the list. I mean, middle inning relievers are going to be making more than Shohei Ohtani. A lot of middle inning relievers. I mean, the amount, I'm sure somebody's going to put together a spreadsheet of guys that'll be making more than Shohei Ohtani next year and forthcoming years as well. So there's just something, I don't know, icky to me. I know all the money off the field, and he's going to have a lot of money coming to him, but this guy is in the prime of his life and career, and this is what's going to be shown for it. So he really, really wants to win.
Ryan Yarbrough is going to be making more money than Shohei Ohtani. It's insane. Yeah. It's insane. Like if you go to the race, this is a race podcast. Let's turn it into the race. I mean, Harold Ramirez is going to possibly be making more than Shohei Ohtani. Shane McClanahan, he's not even doing anything this year except for therapy, and he's going to be making more than
Jason Adam might make more than Shohei Ohtani in arbitration.
Exactly. So this is it's quite. I mean, look, when I read the tweet about the $700 million, I was floored. Nobody ever said that number. Nobody had even floated that number. We were all like, man, it could be like 600. That'd be crazy. No one ever sober or not sober, said $700 million. That number was never on the table. And the fact that I read that, I was like, that is so crazy. And I couldn't believe it. And now with this whole deferments and how it's going to work, it could only be Shohei Ohtani who would pull such a unique, he's a unique guy. So of course he's going to have a unique contract.
I've got some questions, some rapid fire questions on this Ohtani being a Dodger for a very long time. But first, we have to tell you something very important. That is this with FanDuel, our America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. So if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right this very moment. The app is easy to use, and there's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon, LOCKEDON, to kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, they are the official partner of the NFL. I have a pack of 5 questions here for you, Ulysses, and feel free to answer them as in-depth or non-in-depth as you like. 1, is Ohtani being a Dodger good for the game of baseball? Good for the sport as a whole?
I hate that it has to be a binary option. I would like to say yes and no. Honestly, it's yes, because he wouldn't. Actually, I'm torn because
that's how I feel too.
Okay, good. I'm torn because with a big market team, obviously you're gonna get more Sunday night baseballs and Monday night baseball, and that's good because a lot of people can see Shohei Ohtani, and that's all awesome. But I think Shohei Ohtani is such a big name that even if he was a Milwaukee Brewer, you would make the effort to get him to as many eyeballs as possible.
Right.
You know, I am also torn because of the not the argument, but what we discussed last week when we thought he might be a Toronto Blue Jay. Man, West Coast, like
yes,
10 p.m. games. I'm just let down that in our lifetime we might have the most talented human to ever play the game of baseball, and a guy who was probably one of the most talented baseball players ever in Mike Trout, and we haven't been able to really follow along their career as close as we would have wanted because of the fact that the West Coast. So I'm really torn. I think I would lean towards no, it's not good for baseball. But I mean, apparently everybody that is a reporter and has a Twitter following of more than 100,000 people, they all think it's a tremendous idea.
I would say it's better than him being with the Angels, the vast wasteland.
Yes,
that is an organization that continues to drop the bag with their leadership and ownership in charge. They can't win with Ohtani. They can't win with Trout. They can't win with Pujols. They can't win with Jared Weaver in his prime, finishing 2nd, 3rd, and 5th in Cy Young voting. Like, when are they ever going to be able to do anything? So it is an upgrade going from Angels to a blue blood of the West Coast in Los Angeles. But that's the thing. East Coast buys. At least give us Central Time. Give us the Chicago Cubs or something. But that's going to be a challenge. And I'll say this, as difficult as it would be to stomach the innate competition in the AL East if he did wind up a Toronto Blue Jay, just talk about having an entire country rooting for him and being able to see him so many times as a Rays fan. Now, I got to be honest, it's still, for me, generally going to be out of sight, out of mind because of him playing on the West Coast and it is what it is. We just don't follow the that area in the National League as much as we do the AL East, obviously. So that's one thing. Now, 2, is Ohtani deferring the majority of his contract till after he retires or his best playing days are behind him, good for the game / players? Or is it indifferent?
I think
Doesn't really matter.
I don't think it really matters because I think it's a one and done. And I think a lot of big market teams are like, we should have, pulled the trigger. What we have heard is Shohei, he came with this idea, like from him, like, let's do this so that we can be competitive. And it wasn't a Dodgers only. Apparently, the Giants have come out and said that, yes, that happened with us. Obviously he didn't just meet with the Giants and the Dodgers, he met with more teams. So everybody could have done this. The issue is, were the Dodgers the biggest with 700? And it seems like they were. I don't think it's bad for baseball. I don't think like, oh, now Juan Soto is going to do the same thing next year when he's a free agent and he's going to get deferments. I don't think so. I really think it's Shohei Ohtani.
I would just assume that a Juan Soto or fill-in superstar's name, they want to make 35, 40, 45, $50 million AAV right now. They don't want to put it off 10 years into the future.
And again, let's go back to what we said in the first segment. Why is he able to do this? Why is he able to only say, you know what, just pay me $2 million, fam. I'm good. Pay me the 68 in 10 years. Because he's got the endorsements, all those contracts. Like, he is fine. He's going to, let's say he pulls 52. Soto ain't making 52. Right. And ever. So like the deferments are not a good idea for him. Like, he wants to make around that money, 46, 47. Doesn't Judge make 40? So like he's probably looking around that 40, 45. He wants to make that right now. He doesn't want to make that later on. So I really don't think this is, I know people on Twitter or X, they like to, get mad about everything, but I think this is not going to be the end of baseball. I think it's a one and done.
Yeah, no, that's fair. In the next decade, with Ohtani on the team, how many rings will Los Angeles secure? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8.
Seeing as the best team doesn't always win and the best team does not always get there, I think going multiple is a little bit more like, LeBron of 2010. Not 1, not 2, not 3. I think it's we've had that. Yeah. So I think one at least one they're gonna get. Okay. They're gonna be loaded, and I mean, dude,
and they've got a lot of money and a lot of coins to play with now because of this deal. Well, this really does not handicap them like it should in a normal universe.
This is amazing for them. They can go after Yamamoto. They can go after a Tyler Glasnow. They can go after a Corbin Burns. And I mean, the options are endless because of this whole, cash flow savings that they're doing with Shohei Ohtani. And we have it on, if you're on YouTube, and you can see our sleepy faces, but very animated. Ohtani right there, it says team guy. Bro, imagine how much just let down energy, how disappointing he had to feel about being an Angel and just losing. Oh my God, losing.
All being with a dysfunctional organization, because at least with the Dodgers, not only will they be winning, but I think it's going to be a lively, enjoyable environment like Andrew Friedman and front office would try to secure and foster, whereas the Angels, not only are they bad, but you got just a goofy stuff going on at the top as well.
Imagine how fed up you have to be to come up with this plan.
Yeah. I'm really going to stick it to the Angels.
Yeah, like I want to win. Pay me $2 million. Let's get it done. Get that guy. I don't want to hear it like, oh, well, we're really kind of strapped. You're only paying me $2 million. Go get the guys. I want to win. I'm sick and tired of losing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like $2 million in Los Angeles, California, that gets you like a camper's tent. That's what you can essentially afford. It's just crazy over there. Okay, so that's that.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I have one for you.
Okay.
In sandwich in between. Thus, do the deferments happen
Do the deferments happen?
if he hadn't suffered so many losses with the Angels? If he had been on a team that, in 6 years went to the playoffs 3 times, not very dysfunctional, not having the owner meddling like as if he's playing MLB The Show.
Right.
If that hadn't been what his experience had been, do these deferments happen?
No, I don't think so. I just think that, after 6 years of losing in an Angels organization, and as much money as he's making from endorsements and off the field, he was so fed up. Like, 6 years is a long time to not really truly be enjoying yourself and living up to the potential there. So, no, I think that, again, if he was on a team that made the playoffs a couple times and maybe won a ring, that they would think about this a little bit differently. Okay. If Shohei Ohtani never pitches again, not saying this is going to happen, but is this going to be a second Tommy John surgery? I know they're not calling it Tommy John. Procedure, whatever. It's Tommy John. If he never pitches again, but he continues to put up very similar offensive numbers while DHing, playing first base, maybe playing corner outfield, will he be worth that money of $700 million as a one-way player versus a two-way player?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I think he'll be close because he's that. But the whole thing is like he's unique because of those two things.
Right.
So, and you can market him because he's doing that. So
Yes.
How can you market him if he's not doing that? I still think he's going to be a tremendous player. And I think if he keeps putting up, offensive numbers like he has, he's up there with Judge. He's up there with Jordan Alvarez. Like he's up there with, the Juan Sotos of the world, the Bryce Harpers. Like he's one of the best hitters in baseball, one of the most feared hitters in baseball. But that gets you Judge money, 40 mil.
He basically need to put up like 8-9 WAR a season as a one-way player for it to justify that type of coin. And I think winning a couple rings too, probably.
Can you come through in the playoffs? That's huge. I know people don't like, it's a small sample size. If the guy struggles, that's okay. I'm sorry. That's when the big boys show up. That's when you can lower that heart rate. That's when you can, take a big breath, mindfulness and go get them. And that's how you get remembered. Kirk Gibson gets remembered.
Right.
Those are the moments. My goodness, if we don't know this as Rays fans, how do people know the name Dan Johnson?
That's true.
How do people know Mike Brasso, Brett Phillips? You become legends, bro. When you are in the big moment and you do it in October, it's huge.
Iwamura. Okay, I'm going to be cheeky with this this last one here.
Of course.
Will Tyler Glasnow be a Dodger in 2024?
It looks that way.
Opening day 2024.
Looks
the rumors are piling up.
Yeah. Which, again, okay, let's go back to math class, people. If they're saving the CBT hit is like $46 million, right? Instead of the 70. Well, that's $24 million that they're quote unquote saving.
Right.
Tyler Glasnow is 25. So by Shohei doing this, they can get Tyler Glasnow in for free, for the price of one. So he's a Cali guy. He would be going back home.
It like when I heard this news, it was so not news, but reports, I guess I should say, is that, oh my gosh, it's peg fitting into peg. It's square peg in square hole, round peg in round hole. Yeah, the California connection, the Friedman Rays connection, the prospect equity that the Dodgers have. I mean, not only do they have a great star-studded major league roster, but they have one of the top 5, top 6, top handful of farm systems in all of baseball, and they have players that theoretically the Rays would or could be interested in. A couple of their top prospects, Dalton Rushing, catcher, Diego Cartaya, catcher.
Yep.
I see multiple right-handed pitchers, Nick Frasso and Gavin Stone. And all those guys outside of Rushing, I should say, are percolating. They're marinating. They're more or less ready for the show. So it could, be those plug and play guys. Okay, Glasnow's off the books. All right, let's go ahead and acquire 1, 2, 3 top 100 prospects and throw them into the fire.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've said it 1,000 times. I would not like Tyler Glasnow to be traded, but if he's going to be, dude, a stud catcher would not be such a bad thing. I would be less upset if the return for Tyler Glasnow gives us maybe not a Buster Posey, because Buster Posey is a damn Hall of Famer. I don't care who wants to debate that.
Yeah.
Get mad at the screen. But a Gabriel Moreno kind of like somebody you can like, oh man, like this guy is good behind the plate and is also a good stick. Like that would be fantastic as a return. So I wouldn't be mad at that.
Well, the last time the Rays acquired a catcher from the Dodgers, Travis d'Arnaud, for $100,000, I think it worked out pretty well for, a little more than a half a season. If I think it was around May or so, it worked out, I should say. All right, so that's it on the Ohtani stuff. Ulises, anything else we need to mention on this episode? I know there's the Rays did re-up Rafael Ramirez to a minor league deal. Wander Franco has returned to the Dominican Republic. I know Mark Topkin really trying to get those web clicks with his write-up and his headline there. So those are just a couple of other things going on in Rays land here.
Yeah, let's leave the Wander thing for the last bit. Erasmo Ramirez, again, signs with the Rays. He's a lovable guy. I don't think anybody dislikes the idea of having him in the organization. Guys, there are ugly innings that will happen every season.
Yes.
Every season. Someone has to pitch them. Unfortunately, Kevin Weiss and myself will not be pitching those ugly innings. That's Erasmo's job. And that's not you, the listener or the watcher, to do that either. It's Erasmo's job. So that's okay.
You've got 162 games to get through, 9 innings to get through. Somebody's got to eat some ugly innings. And who knows, maybe Ramirez catches lightning in a bottle and replicates. Wasn't that too far removed from 2022, where he had a really, really good season with the Nationals. And he still has, I think, the command and the ability to limit hard contact. And he works, you can deploy him in multiple roles. You can put him as a starter, multi-inning reliever, single inning reliever. It's a minor league contract with an invite to spring training. Not a lot of risk involved. If anything, it should be a benefit to the team and the organization. He's got, roughly 850 big league innings to his belt. He should be able to help some young kid along the way, or help the big league club in a pinch, or at least for those first couple months where you're going to have some of the bigger name starters that are going to be still recovering from their respective injuries. So I think it was really a no-brainer move to do something like this.
Fungible arm, knows the organization knows him. Love the fact that you said he can help out a kid. If he's in AAA, you know what? Listen to Erasmo. If you're a young kid, if you're a young pitcher, like anybody that's a pitcher that's in the minor leagues would love to have Erasmo Ramirez's career. They would love to. They would sign that up any day of the week. So that's a great point that you're making. And again, not breaking the bank at all. And he lives in the Tampa Bay area. I don't think I've ever told you this, but one time I was in the concourse at the Trop. And right in front of me, like 10 feet away, was Rafael Ramirez with his significant other. And I was like, holy bleep, that's bleeping Erasmo. And I was like, should I say hi? And then he was just like in cargo pants, flip flops, just a t-shirt. Like this was years ago. This might have been like 2018, 2019. So it might have been a time where he had been released or something, or maybe just doing therapy or whatever. And I was like, holy crap, it's Erasmo. He's just chilling at the Trop, like pulling a John Jaso. So he's in the area. So I just thought, there you go. Fun little tidbit.
Hey, maybe the same could be said for some fan in the Dominican Republic. They see Franco popped up game or something like that.
Yeah, could happen, right? I'm with you. We talked about this before we hit the record button. It's a nothing burger. I think it just kind of. I don't know. Do you know this? You worked at a paper. You probably have like a quota of articles that you have to do per week or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's actually accurate. You do have to kind of, in a way, create or find content wherever it may lie.
So, just like cops need to get their quota of, speed fines at
speeding tickets and arrest. Yeah.
Yeah. Like they need to, get that quota. So watch out at the end of the month, people, if you don't know that trick. Right. I kind of think this is look, I get it. So Wander so if you haven't heard it, Wander went back to the DR for the first time since all these allegations started. And Topkin was making the point that this could potentially be good news, because if he would be entangled in legal trouble in the U.S., they wouldn't have let him go out.
Does he have any sources on this, or is he just throwing crap to the wall and seeing what sticks? Is this just a hypothesis?
Well, okay. You know that I follow the Venezuelan League. So many players sometimes have had trouble getting back to the U.S. because of working visas. They have to renew those a year. So it could just potentially be a visa situation where if it was like, 11 months, like you have to leave the country because the time is running out, and then you can go to the consulate or the embassy, do the paperwork, the bureaucracy happens, and then, okay, now I can go back to the U.S. Maybe it's just that. But again, I think it was just a quota article of Mark and just had to, I don't subscribe to the clickbait article headline. I think it was clickbaity.
Yeah. Very clickbait. A development in the Wander Franco situation. I think I'm paraphrasing that a little bit, but that's kind of like, I got to click on that. Is he being arrested? Has he been cleared to play? No, he's returned to the Dominican Republic for God knows what reason.
So why couldn't that have been the article title? Wander Franco returns to the DR.
Because that doesn't generate clicks. That's the thing. We're in a clicking business now.
Well, I guess that's what we need to do on our thumbnails now, people. We're gonna be more clickbaity, okay? So deal with it.
Yeah, and if the listeners out there have a theory or a thought process on, oh my gosh, this is a major deal, or if you're like us, where I really don't know how to assess the situation as it currently stands, let us know. Hit us up in the comments there. So there it is. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. Stay safe, and we will talk to you on Friday.